sexual misconduct involving an inmate.
13 female corrections officers.
Today, we uncover secret relationships hidden behind the badges of police officers. They say love comes when you least expect it, and in this episode, we explore the intriguing world where passion clashes with duty. Number 3. Joyce Mitchell, Richard Matt, and David Sweat. The first story we're telling you about might be one of the most famous romances in prison you've ever heard of, and what's more, this romance ended in a huge drama and a prison break just like in Shawshank. Spotlight on Joyce Mitchell, a Clinton Correctional Prison employee with over 7 years of experience. But one wrong move in her career led to a colossal mistake, landing her behind bars for several years. It's a twist of fate for the one who was supposed to guard others in prison not end up there herself. This may seem surprising, but a seemingly mature woman fell under the spell of two shady characters from the fringes. We're talking about Richard Matt and David Sweat. Both were sentenced to life for heinous crimes, including brutal murders. In short, these really weren't people that you wanted to cross paths with, but Joyce, it appears, had a different opinion.
Groomed her to the point of assisting them in escaping from Clinton Correctional.
These two cunning individuals managed to completely manipulate the woman, and during the investigation, it was revealed that they had been sleeping with each other for a really long time, and their prison romance was even widely known.
They were getting it on. I believe they were getting it on in that back room.
At the trial, it was said that we were alone, and inmate Matt grabbed me and kissed me. It startled me. He kissed me with an open-mouth kiss. I didn't say anything because I was scared for my husband, who also worked in the facility.
She is said to have had sex with Sweat more than 100 times.
On top of that, Richard Matt also confessed that he asked her to perform oral sex, and she did so. Matt would come to her desk wearing a large coat in which he'd cut a hole so Mitchell could fondle him.
You were looking for something. You were looking for attention.
Yes, their attention made me feel good.
However, this romance did not have a happy ending. The enamored woman was deceived, and without even realizing it, she aided these two extremely dangerous men in their escape from prison.
Be on the lookout for 2 escapees from Clinton County Correction Facility.
It turned out during the investigation that the guard knew the inmates were planning to escape and was aware of their plan. She went to great lengths to assist them, providing the necessary tools in a highly creative manner, it must be admitted. With the tools in hand, the men planned their escape akin to Prison Break, creating a truly spectacular operation.
And worked their way down 4 stories through 24-inch pipes. Climbing through a series of catwalks, they walked 300 to 400 yards down a tunnel, manhole, that they sawed open with their tools. The manhole where they surfaced was only 1 block from the prison walls.
Reportedly, they promised the woman they would escape together as a trio and start a new life, and she actually believed them.
Couldn't tell my husband, couldn't tell my family. I couldn't tell my coworkers.
The pursuit lasted for weeks, and due to her gullibility, the woman could have truly caused a massive tragedy and danger to the community. However, the convicts were caught. Sweat ended up back behind bars, while Matt was shot and killed during the chase. The punishment didn't spare Mitchell either, who spent nearly 5 years in prison and was deeply distraught throughout the entire time because of what had happened. However, the judge and the jury remained unmoved by her tears, and the guard had to answer for her utter irresponsibility.
Take it all back, I would. I can't begin to explain how sorry I am for all this.
And just like in our next case, another guard found herself behind bars. Before we jump into the rest of the stories, we kindly ask you to show some love by hitting the like button below and subscribing to our channel. Your support truly means the world to us. Thank you for watching, and without further delay, let's get right back to the heart of the matter. Number 2. Gemma Kalperthwalt. At just 27, Gemma, a former St. Clair County prison guard, surely wishes she could turn back time. Back in 2015, she wasn't as wise as she is now, and she made a terrible mistake. If only she had never taken an interest in any convict, she might never have looked their way again.
I got caught up in something that
I shouldn't have.
Rumor has it that the inmate and the guard immediately caught each other's eye and their romance quickly blossomed. However, neither of them could anticipate what would happen next.
I met my quote-unquote victim back last year.
That little innocent romance started with playful teasing and innocent gestures. At that stage, maybe no one would have noticed, but things escalated from there. The woman met at the guard's home while the inmate was on a medical furlough from prison, and that was perhaps the turning point in their relationship.
So I gave her my phone number and said, if you want to contact me, if you want to talk outside of here, then I'm okay with it.
From that moment on, the inmate's attitude towards the relationship changed. She demanded more and more favors that Gemma couldn't fulfill. When the guard didn't meet her demands, the inmate accused her of abuse of power and sexual assault, something that did happen to some extent.
Because she was the one to reach out to me, she was the one to come to me, she was the one to ask me for help.
Copperthwaite admitted in court on Tuesday to the charge of sexual assault with intent to penetrate, a crime punishable by up to 10 years in prison. She confessed to engaging in a sexual relationship with the inmate while she was in prison. As if being sentenced to 6 months in prison wasn't enough, her guilty plea also means that Gemma will be permanently listed on the state's sex offender registry.
Yeah, run away. It's not worth it. It's not worth sitting 5 months in prison.
So one thing is certain. The guard regrets what she did, and if she could, she would turn back time. However, the same cannot be said for our next guard. Number 1, Nancy Gonzalez and Ronell Wilson.
A female federal prison guard in court today charged with having an illegal affair with an inmate. That inmate, a convicted cop killer. She's now pregnant and she faces more than a dozen years behind bars.
The case we're about to present is shocking and unprecedented for several reasons, unlike anything we've ever seen before. Gonzalez claims that during her time at the Metropolitan Detention Center, she engaged in sexual activities with at least 8 colleagues, including 2 supervisors, all while on duty. She also admitted to having a sexual relationship with another inmate. And it's this last point that appears to be the most shocking. Setting aside the entire sexual scandal, the worst part is that Gonzalez became pregnant and gave birth to a child of one of the inmates that she'd been involved with for several months.
Why not give him a child, as far as giving him some kind of hope?
Also, from what she mentioned in the quote displayed on your screen, it suggests that this child might not have been an accident. It could have been a planned action in favor of the inmate. The father of the child was no ordinary prisoner, but Ronell Wilson, who was on death row awaiting execution. The inmate was a significant member of a notorious criminal gang in New York, known for its brutality. He was incarcerated for the murder of 2 innocent police officers. It's a bit of an irony, isn't it? A police officer not only breaks the rules, but also gets involved with someone like him. Despite Gonzalez's lack of remorse, every individual mentioned in today's episode faced the consequences of their actions. Now, if you enjoyed our content, then please click here to see more episodes. And as always, thank you very much for choosing to spend your time with us today. We'll see you in our next episode.